Outgroups are any group of people who may form a coalition against an in-group based on some shared characteristics. This could be political alliance, could be religion, or various other factors. It's not always race, but there is frequently a racial component. This Twitter post from Eva Vladingerbroek is a response to some of the recent attacks that have taken place on women and girls in Austria and Germany. The attacks were perpetrated by migrants.
So it happened again. The news hit today that a 14-year-old girl has been found dead, drugged, and abused in an apartment of an Afghan migrant in Vienna. This follows the news of two children who were 9 and 10 years old that were stabbed by a migrant in Duisburg-Marlow in Germany. And this follows the news of 3 women who were stabbed by a migrant also in Vienna, and a 12-year-old girl that was gang raped by 17 migrant minors, also in Vienna. And that's, in the last 10 days, that's 10 days in Europe. And this happens all the time.
You can see from the text that the situation has been framed as an attack specifically on white women and white girls. The statement that white lives matter, that a European girl was attacked and isn't the first, etc. There is a possibility that this person also has an agenda. It may just be the case that she got angry when she saw the news reports. Research shows that anger causes a person to resort to stereotypes. It's a rapid reaction to a perceived threat of some kind. A rapid reaction relies on quick information processing, which is helped by the simplification of information. This supports stereotyping. But of course, anger is understandable. The attacks are horrendous, and something really needs to be done about the pattern of attacks that are occurring. Eva's take was presented to the public some days after the attack happened. But as details emerged after the initial reports, it became clear that the 3 women killed by the Afghan national in Vienna were Chinese nationals. The centrality of outgroup fears in relation to women has a long-standing history in the region and no doubt elsewhere. Propaganda imagery from the early 20th century featured frequent depictions of black men posing a threat to white women in some way. Even where the use of incendiary imagery is associated with actual events, its effects go beyond the promotion of a news story, with such imagery being shown to influence the perception of the size of outgroup members, as well as their strength and the threat they pose. Common outgroup biases include the perspective that the outgroup are more alike each other, more simple-minded, more hostile, more tolerant of pain, and lacking in morality. Far-right AfD politician Marie-Theresa Kaiser featured in promotional imagery that played on sexual notions, accompanied by the statement that German women are not fair game. This could be despite appearances, even of a sexual display. It's a statement that's fair, yet the sensitivities at the heart of the imagery speak to something deep in our psychology. Recently, tech entrepreneur Elon Musk responded with outrage to Ms. Kaiser being charged for a statement of facts based on government statistics detailing the disproportionate number of attacks carried out by migrants. I see no reason to take sides in the pursuit of truth, and this censorship of facts is likely to increase polarization over an increasingly sensitive issue, hindering progress. Insights into psychological biases, their forms and functions, may improve discernment in an age of information overload.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
We can reasonably assume that Eva's anger heightened her response to the news report, which included an inaccuracy in relation to the number of boys charged. The way in which these processes have played out echoes famous cases, including that of the Central Park jogger, whose attack was followed by the arrest of many boys, 5 of whom went to jail, against the backdrop of great outrage in the community. American politician Hillary Clinton used the term super predators to describe such attackers, which was said to tarnish a generation of black boys.
The kinds of kids that are called super predators, no conscience, no empathy.
The boys were later exonerated, and a serial rapist, who was unknown to them all, was found guilty.
So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it.
The language and primal concept of predator and prey is indicative of the place in our minds that outgroup biases hold. Degrees of dehumanization of outgroups are common, and where savage attacks persist, it can be predicted that there will be a strong response. Empathy for an outgroup member may not occur automatically. Research indicates that it's often necessary to make a significant cognitive effort while imagining yourself in the position of the outgroup member, reflecting on the shared difficulties you face. Additionally, high-quality interactions between individuals of different groups appear to be necessary in order to foster positive relations. However, this can simply result in an individual being viewed as something different from the rest of their group, with stereotypes remaining. A glowing example of a bridge being built between an in-group and an out-group comes from the friendship between Lutz Long and Jesse Owens, which began at the 1936 Olympics in Germany, a games that Hitler had intended to be a propaganda piece, showcasing the supremacy of the Aryan race. Jesse Owens became the star of the Olympics, winning 4 titles. However, one of them was only possible after the German Lutz Long advised him to make adjustments to his run-up in the long jump. Jesse and Lutz remained friends long after the Olympic Games, writing letters to each other, until Lutz died on the battlefield in World War II, fighting for Nazi Germany. Speaking of the beginning of their friendship in the Olympics, Jesse said, "You can melt down all the medals and cups I have, and they wouldn't be a plating on the 24-carat friendship I felt for Lutz Long at that moment. Hitler must have gone crazy watching us embrace." In the absence of effective security measures, interactions with outgroups throughout history would often have ended in hostility. The legacy of such circumstances has left our outgroup sensitivities so high that they may be triggered by things as arbitrary as team colours. Fear centres of the brain erupt within milliseconds of encountering an outgroup male. The strength of the effect is not replicated when faced with an outgroup female, a consequence of male typical aggression, which may result in extreme forms of violence. In addition, women frequently fall prey to predatory males, experiencing elevated levels of sexual violence. Conquests for women specifically have been well documented throughout history, and rape continues to appear to be an outcome of every invasion. These images depict Viking slave women being traded for goods, as documented by the Arab writer Ahmad ibn Fadlan. Sensitivity to unknown men precedes learning, being displayed by infants, while environmental influences also alter behaviours. For example, a stereotype threat, the risks we associate with stereotypes, have been shown to influence the distance that we keep. The trend in man versus bear debate has caused a lot of controversy, where women tend to indicate that they would feel less fear about being stuck in a forest with a bear versus a man. Whether the reality of this scenario is reflected in their feelings are indicative of the bias against men, which I believe is a result of the sensitivities that have developed as a result of personal experience, as well as the innate inclination against men, where they are unknown, where they are hypermasculine, where there is a heightened sense of understanding about the nature of the threat. The fact that a bear could be expected to be faster, stronger, bigger than a man, and presumably harder to reason with, only indicates how deeply entrenched these biases are.
They're saying that they feel safer around bears than they do men, and they trust bears more than they do men. First of all, most men are not sick, evil, perverted individuals that want to hurt women. Most men hate those types of men and will do everything they can to protect women from those types of men.
Rather than taking it personally, the question to ask is who has most often posed a more severe risk across time, a bear or a man?
Second of all, if you trust bears more than you trust women, then maybe we should just replace all the people you call when you're in danger with bears instead of men, because most of the people you call are men. How about we just replace all the male teachers that you leave your kids with every day with bears?
In a few moments, you'll see a clip featuring an interview with a former soldier, Kelsey Sharon, as she discusses the positive ways in which men respond to women when they're in danger. It's certainly the case that a lot of men offer protection.
Men act different when women are around, we know that. We know that. They just respond different. If a woman's getting hurt, doesn't matter if he likes me or not, he's gonna respond differently. He could put himself in danger.
While there's an abundance of data to indicate that many men will indeed offer protection to women, these aren't the men that need to be a concern to women. Those who are require a great deal of attention. The female sensitivity to threatening men, or men perceived as threatening, is an adaptive response to environmental stimuli, with female responses to the threat, including the pursuit of information that will help them survive, as motivated by emotional states reflective of the danger. While not all behaviours displayed are adaptive, it's clear to see how sensitivities to unknown males promote safety.
Acting like men are scarier than bears? You ain't watched enough nature documentaries, baby.
Maybe we don't watch enough nature documentaries because we're too busy watching true crime, not for the plot line, but to know how to survive if we are in any of the situations that the women are put in on those shows.